Hi everybody and welcome to session 5 of the course. Let's go ahead and go on in and take a look at session 5. Alright, so we've got a checklist. Let's talk first about the issue. We're going to be looking at BYOT in the classroom. So on the Session 5 Activities page, you'll get the prompt. On the Session 5 Issues page, you'll get the issue itself. Then you're going to blog your response, you're going to share on the community, and then you're going to respond to 2 peers on that Google community. So let's go take a look. Session 5 Activities. The blogging is item C, blogging about the Session 5 issue. Alright, so I give you a tip here, but you can read. You need to read all of this yourself, of course. But I do want you to keep David and Cuban's ideas about reforms in school settings in your mind as you tackle this prompt. What the heck is that? Well, that's on the next page. So when I get to the next page, I'm going to definitely point that out to you. All right. So this is what I want you to address in your blog post. Where did the idea of BYOT originate? What problems is BYOT intended to solve? Does BYOT seem to be working for schools? How do you think BYOT should be utilized, if at all? Explain. Now, I was noticing earlier, some of my resources are from like 2012, and I didn't see a lot that were more recent than that. So you're definitely welcome to go do an updated search on the web or in the Galileo databases if you like, to see if you can find more current information. Definitely don't feel like you're limited to those resources that I provided. When you're finished, be sure you submit to the Dropbox. Of course, like I said earlier, you're going to promote on the Google community and respond to 2 peers' posts. All right, so let's go to the prompt, to the, to the issue page. Okay, so we have 3 main sections. This first question is not even about BYOT at all. Okay, but I want you to use the resources here from David and Cuban's Cutting Through the Hype as sort of a framework for how you think about BYOT. Okay, so let's look at this first chart. It's a scanned chart, doesn't look the best, but it's got good information in it. So here you see the school or the classroom, and then pressing down with all these heavy arrows are all of these different factors and influences that do impact what goes on inside of that classroom, that's inside of that school. We've talked in this class a little bit about how the federal government is exerting some pressures. At the state level, we've got pressures. So the state/local level, the school district, the Board of Education and central offices are also part of the local level. They're also dictating what happens in that school classroom. And then you've got these different groups that are doing a lot of talking, and you've got economic factors. You've got the media and their spin on things, etc., that impact what goes on in schools. That's just a fabulous graphic for remembering that what happens in your classroom is not this innocent, unaffected sort of vacuum. There's nothing vacuum-like about the classroom. It's very much influenced by all these things. So keep that in mind. Take a look at that. Maybe print it out, tape it to your wall. And then this book is a really great book, I'll just say. It tackles about 20 issues in education, including things like technology in the classroom and bilingual education. It's got a lot of different issues, and it tackles them in like 8-page chapters. And but at the very end they have a chapter about how you can what you can actually do, And so I think it's really important both for this, not only for this session, but for what we've been looking at in this class. I know that sometimes when we look at educational issues, we think, some of these problems we cannot solve, or they're not easy to solve. Um, you know, the issue of poverty and how it affects education and the way we think education should be handled in our country, for example, just seems sometimes like an impossible problem to solve. And so this chapter does a really great job of helping you, and I'm sorry about this. This is an annoyance I face every day. This chapter does a great job of helping you to focus and really think about the things that you can control and what you can do with whatever issue you're looking at. And if you're trying to make change in the school, and a lot of the time, and they use the word reform, so that's a different word from issue. But reforms are often a response to an issue. And so a lot of what this chapter is also about is what happens when you're, say, working in a school and there are some kind of reform, such as BYOT, could be looked at as a reform. How do you analyze it, and what do you do with it? And so this chapter is really fabulous for that. So just give it a read, and I encourage you to save this for your future schooling here at West Georgia, just for other classes that you take. It's a chapter I like to go back and just kind of reread sometimes when I get overly excited about something in the K-12 setting, because there's lots to be excited about, and it kind of helps calm me back down, like, okay, calm down. All right, so those two items are sort of your framework for this BYOT discussion. Then I want you to look at these resources, and I've got these essential questions that sort of frame them, but these are not your blog post questions. Those are on the previous page that we've already looked at. Down here, I want you guys, this is your field experience, okay? I want you to join the Thursday night from 9 to 10 p.m. BYOT Twitter chat. You can also go to it asynchronously. So look, I'm on it now. I just clicked that bottom link, the BYOT chat Twitter feed, and it took me there. And now I can read what other educators have been posting on it even after the last chat. So the last chat was on the 16th of October. Some folks were on here chatting, and see all these 16th of October things. So this is a live chat you can come listen to on Thursday nights. There's going to be 2 Thursday nights in this session, so you could catch it live, and I've found that a lot of students really like to actually catch it live. It's much more exciting than cruising through it not live. Okay, so that is your field experience. I want you to tune in for 45 to 60 minutes and explore the BYOT Twitter chat. Okay, so you can actually see what current educators are doing. All right, so that's the session 5 issue. The session project is the Hot Topics in Education. So if we go to the session 5 activities page, we can click right here to read the instructions. Basically what you're going to do is write an essay or create a presentation. I call it a presentational artifact. And you're going to choose an issue. You can use my list of educational issues here. All of these are issues here on the left. You're welcome to use any of them. You're welcome to go look for issues on think tank websites, or in online communities of teachers, or in education sections of newspapers, for example, or on educational blogs. Those would be great places to go hunt down issues if you don't like the choices that I have selected here. You're going to pick that issue, you're going to learn more about it, go do a little research on it. You're going to find at least 5 references to support your learning about it, and you're going to tell us about that issue, what it is, a little bit about its history. Notice how I say these are suggested questions for you to address, but you might pose different questions if they are more appropriate to your issue. It's very hard for me to write general questions about an issue that I'm not sure what issue you're looking at. And sometimes just the word issue itself, like what the heck does that mean? Sometimes issues are problems. Sometimes an issue might be like this week's BYOT is really not an issue, although it may be causing issues. That's where it gets confusing. BYOT is really an answer to another separate question. It's a solution to a separate problem, maybe. It's an educational innovation or an educational reform. And so even if you were to pick a reform, that would be fine as an issue. So anyway, I need you to break down the issue for me, this thing that you're looking at, this problem in education or this challenge, and I need you to tell me all about it. And if these questions don't work for you, pose new ones for yourself, okay? But be sure you do pose new ones for yourself. You're not putting enough information is not going to really count as posing new questions for yourself. You can, if it helps, you can write out those new questions that you're asking. That's totally fine to do that. And then I want you to critique it a little bit. How do you relate to the issue? Is there anything good about it? Is there anything not good about it? This question here, I'm not sure what I'm asking, but if your issue has strengths and weaknesses, or maybe pros and cons is a better way of asking that. I just want you to tell me what you think about the issue. So after you have told me coldly and objectively, based on your 5 resources, about the issue in part 1 here, then you chime in and you tell me what you think about it, okay? That's really the simple way to put all of this. So I don't want to see you coming in and telling me what you think about it at this point, okay? Just kind of keep those two modes separate, if you could. All right, so I'll let you guys read these instructions. You can let me know if you have any questions. Okay. All right, so just a quick aside. I went ahead and gave you a link to my dissertation down here. It's a 200-page paper about BYOT in a local Georgia school district if you want to get really down and dirty with BYOT and really see how it works. All right, so let's look at one last thing. I'm now on the second page of the session. Let's go check out the course plan. All right. So we are here in session 5. So you're going to want to, by November 2nd, post your blog, respond to 2 peer posts on the Google community, complete your Hot Topics in Education assignment. You're going to want to then look ahead and ask yourself, what the heck's coming up? We have a 2-week session where we do our last blog post in session 6. It's on the ideal school. You'll do 2 peer responses again on the Google community. Through this course embedded field experience logging, you will confirm for me whether or not you have actually done the embedded experiences provided in the class. It's sort of a survey is what it is. And you'll also provide evidence of your responses to peers throughout the sessions. And then coming up during our session 7, which is a 1-week session, you have the field experience log and reflection coming due. Remember, this is an assignment that if you don't do it properly, you cannot receive credit for the class. So you need to make sure you've read those instructions immediately and that you are pretty much almost about to be done with your observations that you've been doing. Your 5+ hours of observations that you would have been doing with this need to be wrapping up pretty quickly here. So Thanksgiving break is from November 24th through 28th, and this assignment is due on the 30th. So that weekend after Thanksgiving is technically not really part of the Thanksgiving holiday, so you can use that time to get in this final field experience. I know that seems very cruel, but what I urge you to do is, if you know you're not going to be around for Thanksgiving break and you don't want to be working that week, then just try to set the deadline for the week before. for yourself the week before the November 30th, because that'll give you a full week. So the week before November 30th, that would may mean that you'd want to try to get your stuff done by November 23rd, and that gives you that full week from the 17th to the 23rd. And then this Thanksgiving break is just a few extra days. All right, guys, we are definitely headed downhill now. We've kind of crested the top of the hill, and we are sort of slowly starting to roll downhill. Be sure that you're keeping up with everything. You're not creating a big pile of work that you're going to have to deal with later. And just let me know how I can help. And I look forward to seeing what you all have to say about the BYOT phenomenon. All right, thanks.